Hey guys, another Lincoln Chronicle here. So one thing I wanted to talk about was the keys on the car. So when I got this car, I only had the ignition key and nothing else. And I really wanted to use this back trunk key to open up the trunk. So if you guys don't know, on a 66 Lincoln and some of the other years, there's a keyhole down here right by the gas cap, right? And a lot of people think that keyhole is for actually locking this, but it's not. It's for opening the trunk and actually putting the top up. So I only had the ignition key and it doesn't work in there. So I said, well, I'm not going to go buy another lock, quite honestly. I said, why don't I figure it out? I should be able to cut a key to fit into the lock. So that's what I've done. I want to show you what it looks like inside the lock. So here is this is going to be hard to do. I might have to do two videos. So here's the key cylinder, okay? The key cylinder sits, what do you want to call it? The lock cylinder sits in there. On top of the lock cylinder is a little silver thing that holds all the springs and the cylinder and the I guess the pins that go in there. And I'm going to set this right here. We'll see if this works. And I'll show you how to get those pins out and then how to cut the key itself. So here's the top. Now I've opened this like 3 times. So this took me a while to figure out, guys. This was not a clean and quick. See I'm picking it up just a little bit. Oop, and there was a spring. It's okay. And I'm gonna ease it on out. There we go. Okay. So in the top you've got springs, and then underneath those springs you have 2 pins. I'm gonna show you just one of them. There we go. Okay. So inside of there, underneath, is like a one pin that I call like it rides in the lock itself, and then this one, the one with the curved end, it's gonna be hard to see. That one actually rides on the key. So if you can imagine, here's the key, right? The bottom one, this curved one, dang, this is hard to do, sits right, man, you can't see anything, sits right on top of there. So there's 5 of them. Here's how it works, okay? You basically take each of the pins out, all right? Make sure you keep them all aligned, all straight. You basically measure the distance with the key in, where it is to each one of the pins. So I measured to the first pin, second pin, third pin, fourth pin, fifth pin. And then I measured, oops, I gotta flip over. I measured the depth. So, man, that is hard to see. Let's just do it like this. Give me a second. And my big fat fingers don't help at all. Okay. So, maybe the video will be upside down too. Who knows? Okay. So, there's the pin. Here's the key. It sits right here. Okay? And the pin, whatever you want to call them, the cylinders move up and down. And the up and down, basically what you're trying to do is align the brake between the 2 pins. And when you align the brake in the 2 pins, the whole key cylinder turns. So I measured the distance of how long that pin is, and I measured all of them, and then I cut using a file. I basically sat there and messed around, took my file, and I cut into the key, okay? Each of the spots. Now I cut each spot, and then I would test it. And then I cut a little more and test it. I don't want to go too deep, okay? Because if I go too deep, I can't add more material. Now you'll see, first thing is, you don't have to cut the bottom. It's a Ford lock, you only need to cut one side. The reason that it's cut on both sides is so that either way you put it in, it'll work. So, when I'm done with this one, I will eventually cut that other side. For now, I just needed the one side to get it right, okay? You basically do that, find out what it looks like, measure, you file a little bit away. I'm putting it back together. You file a little bit away at a time, put it back in there. What I did as a trick is I put in here, man, I'm sorry about the focus. I put just the bottom pins in, okay? And I left all the springs out and all the top pins in. And then I put the key in, and I could look down, and you can look down in here. Come on, baby, focus. You could look down in here, okay, and see which pin is sticking up and which one isn't sticking up. And that, I could keep messing with it until I got them all the right height. So I just tweaked it just a few minutes ago and got them set all right. So look, we stick that on there and it kind of slides forward. And man, you don't want to slide this thing backward and forward too much, because if you slide it backward and forward, you know what you're doing? You're messing up those springs. And you want everything to slide as easily as possible. And I got it backwards. I don't think there's a frontward or a backwards, but this is how I was doing it. So you get all that set, and then take a little tip, tap. Okay, all together. And I don't know why it's not focusing, but we'll find out. Okay, oops. And there she goes. Not totally smooth, but I mean, it's good enough. And I just got that back lock to work. So, $3 probably for the key, shipped on eBay. And I don't know, I'm gonna say I spent 2 hours total. And this was my first time doing it. So, you know, I'd say take your time. Oh man, 6 minutes, I gotta cut this video down. Anyway, take your time cutting the key. That's the important part. You don't wanna waste the key. And don't screw up all the springs and all the pins that are in here. That's the other important part, okay? I will, I'm gonna take a video of this working, and then I'll try and splice both together. Ooh, it's hot out here. All right, guys, another stinking Lincoln. We'll see you later.